Welcome again to Joe Stunner Boxing. I hope you're all doing well. It's the start of the week. Be positive. Right. Believe me, I do have every intention of making very positive, optimistic videos about boxing. I really do. But sometimes it's like peaks and troughs, and sometimes the troughs are much deeper than the little peaks. You know, if we're talking about the troughs, you'd be talking the Hanging Gardens of Babylon. And if you're talking about the peaks, they'd be a double A brass eyes. This is boxing we're talking about here. But let me continue on a downer. Because I was reading an article by the boxing trainer Mark Mazzo, who I think he's based in Essex. I think it's Chelmsford. But he said some things he was talking primarily about the whole drug thing in boxing. And he said some interesting things which bear repeating. He started off, I'll read this article, I'll read patches of it so that you get the general gist of it. He starts off by saying, are professional boxing matches fair? Are they even meant to be? Or is that just a concept sold to the general public? So in other words, is boxing inherently unfair? Is it impossible to have fairness in boxing? Real fairness, not just PEDs, but all right, well, I'll let him illustrate his own point, because he then goes on to say, the prospect who is given the date of their next bout 3 months in advance, thus able to plan and prepare with adequate notice, then being matched a couple of weeks out from the show against an opponent who's only just been asked to accept the contest. Is that fair? A boxer who has ample sponsors and financial backing to train full-time, pitted against an opponent who works a full-time job away from the sport and fits in their boxing training around breaks in their work schedule. Is that fair? A 100-bout amateur with numerous titles to their name in the vest against a previous novice amateur whose career highlight was being granted their pro licence in the first place. Would that be deemed fair? The journeyman who accepts defeat on the road knows he's more likely to be offered another payday soon if he loses rather than upsets a favourite. Then he spends the rest of his life explaining his box rec credentials to the uninitiated. Is that fair? Is a contest including someone billed as a heavyweight world champion against someone competing in their first conventional boxing match a fair fight? I wonder who he's talking about. Fairness in boxing should of course be paramount, but it's not. Okay, now all of those points that Mark Mazzo made are all absolutely relevant. And the rest of the column is about PEDs. I won't rehash the whole PED thing because I've made several videos before on it, which you can go and have a look at if you're interested. But clearly, PEDs is something that can be identified as so obviously unfair. One guy's clean, the other guy has taken performance-enhancing drugs. So you would assume that the PED guy, if they're remotely evenly matched, is going to have an advantage. Of course, it is possible that a more talented guy whose level's above the PED user can beat him anyway. And some fighters have said he can take what he likes. I'll beat the crap out of him anyway. Okay, I get it. Yep, there is that possibility. But generally speaking, you can identify drugs as getting an unfair advantage using drugs as being a negative thing, a bad thing for the sport. However, other things which Mark listed, which I recited, are clearly unfair, but they're kind of buried, or they've become we've become so used to them that we just accept them, that we just say, okay, yeah, journeyman takes a fight on a day's notice, 3 wins and 100 losses, looks like he can't fight at all, when in actual fact, being a journeyman is an art form in itself. And this is true, there are world champions who could not do what some journeymen do, in the sense that they couldn't fight every week on a day's notice and hold down a full-time job. their heart would go, their motivation would go, should we say. I don't like heart because that implies a lack of courage, and I wouldn't say that about a professional boxer. But, the motivation could go. There is a discipline and a definite art to being a journeyman. And if you've ever known a journeyman and what they do in their lives, getting up at 5 a.m. to go do their cardio training, going and doing a full-time job, whatever that may be, and then afterwards going training again. That's what a lot of them do. That's why they're able to have 150, 200, 250 fights, even though they're losing almost all of them, because they've got that discipline. That takes a real special type of mental strength, which often gets overlooked. But is it fair that they constantly get jobbed? That they jobbed, not jobs, jobbed. In other words, they got 50 losses on their record or whatever, and 25 of those could have gone either way, or perhaps were just flat out robberies. When I see a journeyman getting ripped off, it really pisses me off, because they deserve at least a fair crack of the whip. But no, they don't get it sometimes. When have you ever seen a prospect go in with a journeyman and the prospect obviously wins, but the journeyman gets the decision? When have you ever seen that? You haven't seen it because it doesn't happen. We've seen plenty the other way around, though, haven't we? Oh, yes, we have. Over the years, bloody hell, sitting ringside. I mean, I've been showered in beer a few times because people at the back are chucking it. But anyway. Yeah, the point is that some unfairnesses, some injustices are kind of buried underneath our psyches, underneath our consciences, because we've become used to them. Now, why am I mentioning this? I'm mentioning this because I keep hearing not from many people, but from a substantial minority, that the best thing with PEDs to do is to legalise them and say, open the floodgates and say, off you go, do the whole thing, meh, meh, meh. And I think that would be a grave mistake. Now, I work with addicts. I do meet a lot of PED users because we've got a needle exchange and they come and get the needles, and I have to do harm minimisation with them, which usually takes about 5 minutes because they know more about it than I do. They've been doing cycles for God knows how long. But I work with addicts, and I've heard people say, oh, legalise heroin, legalise crack, legalise fets, legalise, whatever, ketamine, whatever you want to mention. Everyone's using it anyway. All right, you open the floodgates, and the behaviour that is associated with those drugs becomes standard, mainstream, accepted. And trust me when I tell you that the behaviour isn't just about the person who's taking the heroin or the crack killing himself. It affects their family, and it affects society, and it affects you and me. Because it might be your house they're doing over, or your motor they're breaking into, okay? Now, if we do the same thing with PEDs and open the floodgates and say, help yourself, a free-for-all, okay, it will become accepted, okay? And all the downside that people are prepared to just not bother with, throw the towel in on, that will become accepted too. There are enough hidden negatives, injustices in boxing, as we know, without adding another one into the mix, simply because we're too damn gutless to stand up to people. Also, I'm not going to read any more sections of Mark Mazzo's column here, but he does mention one thing that probably hasn't been emphasised enough by myself or others, and that is that what about the people who are selling the PEDs to the boxers? What about the nutritionists and the strength and conditioning coaches? Do they know anything about it? But certainly the people that are selling them, I mean, we all know they're all over the place, in gyms and everything. But why aren't people coming down on them as well? What do the police not care? I mean, I know from experience that the police very often overlook a lot of illegal recreational drugs, and even something like weed can be very, very negative. It can affect your mental health and so on. Give you paranoia if you smoke a lot of it. So it's not a harmless drug. But yeah, what about the other people involved in a boxer who, let's be honest, isn't a pharmacist or a chemist, taking drugs and then not realising, that they may have taken something. I don't remember taking that. What is it? I can't even pronounce it. And yet we come down hard on the boxers, like the Conor Ben thing. Don't get me wrong. I'm not someone who is prepared to give Ben the benefit of the doubt. But if you said to me, I'll bet he didn't know I'll bet he took it without realising, that I can actually agree with. I think there's a very realistic chance he is, or he did take something without realising what he was taking. Does it excuse him? No, it doesn't, because he's been nicked. But at the same time, to pour all the heat onto that one fighter, and he don't strike me as being a particularly bright lad, to be honest with you, Conor Benn, when I see him interviewed. I don't mean that in a disrespectful, rude way, although I suppose it is disrespectful, but I'm just being honest. But no, what about the people around him? They should carry the can as well. So yeah, I just wanted to say that, I don't agree with legalising everything for the reasons that I've given in this video. What do you think? I know some of you have said in my comment section before, legalise the whole lot. Okay, you're entitled to your opinion. I don't agree with you, but I respect your right to have your opinion. If you've got any further comments to make or anything else you want to say, leave your comments below. Thank you, as always, for your time, for watching this video. Much appreciated. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Give that like button a good old right cross as well. Much love to all of you, and I'm looking forward to reading your comments. Until then, bye for now.